I'm here at in Millbrae, California, right by the San Francisco International Airport, right in front of me here. Turn around, see the airplanes. So it's a beautiful day here. It's a little chilly, but glorious sunshine. I'm getting a little vitamin D production. I came down with a slight cold after having some jet lag and then having a couple of nights of really rough sleep, which was, I think it took down my immune system, and I started getting a little sore throat and my nose got all plugged up. But I feel better now, especially getting outside. That was a couple days ago. Usually when I get a cold, it doesn't last very long, and this one is definitely pretty mellow. I actually just got out of the gym, so I have enough energy to do all the things I need to do. And so today I wanted to talk about something that has come up recently quite a bit, and this is the idea of myth. And is myth a good thing or not? And I'm going to start off by saying absolutely not. Myth is not a good thing. I'm going to turn around here because this is getting not as scenic. So yeah, I would say that there's a lot of reasons for that. So back when I was growing up as a young child, I believed in a lot of myths, and of course there are the ones that are prevalent. Most kids grow up believing in things like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny and all that, and of course I was no exception there to that. But why is that a negative thing? Why can't we have myths like this? And then the church would be another one. A lot of myths there going on with the man in the sky. And so the idea of not going with society here and not believing in the myths is really important, and it's important to your health. Just this morning, I was reading an article about the guy that started Kellogg's, the cereal company. I think his name was, I can't remember, John Kellogg or something. And so this guy, so you think of breakfast cereal, that's a pretty common thing. I mean, I think most of us grew up eating cereal for breakfast, and especially all the Kellogg's brands, Corn Flakes and Frosted Flakes and all that stuff. And but if you look at why he created his cereals, especially like the Corn Flakes, why did he create those? Well, the reason is shocking why he created it. Zero to do with health. He basically was I believe he was a very religious man, and to the extreme. And he believed that sex was bad. Sex is bad. It's evil. It's a sin. And masturbation is a horrible sin. So the reason he created cornflakes is to make people lose their sex drive, and that would allow them to not be obsessed and not masturbate. So that was his intention. So it goes beyond this. That is shocking enough, but it goes beyond this. So this Kellogg guy, he was also a pretty evil bastard himself. He abused children by pouring this acid on their genitals. So this is all true. This is not myth. This is what the guy did, and he wanted to take all these kids and rid them of their desire to have sex. So that was his life. That was his life's goal, and he would have been considered a successful person by creating this cereal that everybody ended up, most people ended up buying, but they had no idea what his intentions were. So it becomes really interesting because you think about like what we define as success in society and how much of that is just bullshit. And success is really dependent on how you look at it. And that, to me, is the opposite of success. Oh, it's like some people talking really loud. But that would be obviously taking away from the world instead of giving to the world. So you have this myth, these myths that just destroy people's health, their mental health, their physical health, and it's not obvious at first. It seems, it's like okay, well, we just learned the wrong things. Now let's learn something else. But I mean, it's like we're talking about a whole generation of kids that grew up on this crap, and it was all because of this totally horrible reason that he created it. And so we were all just duped and sold a lie. And yeah, I mean, there's so many other things that go along with this that you could point to that are like total myths that just ended up costing just tons of lives. Like I just read something about the war in Afghanistan, and that was all sold on just tons of lies and myths, and thousands of Americans died. Of course, a lot more than that. Middle Easterners died, innocent people, because of all these lies and myths and propaganda and all that. So the usual suspects. So what I'm getting at is that it is really important in life to decipher the truth. I'm gonna start looking the other way. It is really important to decipher the truth. And that will, when you don't have the truth, when you're kind of going off of what might be a myth or might be just total bullshit or something that is actually intended to steer you the wrong direction, then you will be going the wrong direction and you will be suffering the consequences. So, there's some things that people say, oh, that's just something little that doesn't really mean anything. Like someone wants to believe in, I don't know, leprechauns or something. It's like, it's their deal. Like they can do that, and who's it harming? And to some degree, I can see why that would be. Like I can see the point there. But if you look at the larger picture, when you are believing in one little myth, then you're opening yourself up to believing in a lot of myths, and you're not trying to get to the truth. So, that's the really important thing here. And I was just going over my history of like eating, nutrition, and I went from eating a standard American diet, lots of junk food, lots of frozen pizza, beer, Taco Bell, you name it. My diet was terrible. I went from that to learning about how lowering carbohydrates is a good thing, to then learning about eating natural foods, which means the kind of paleo type of foods. Then learning about how even some plants, a lot of plants, can be bad for our bodies in a lot of ways. And this is after a lot of studying and trying to figure out what the truth is. And the consequence of that pursuit of the truth is better health. It's not, you're not going to get there by going with the flow. You're not going to get there by just watching TV, by reading the newspaper, by listening to all the mainstream advice. Because we're going to check out this plane landing. Boom. It's really cool how they land here, because if you're on the plane, it looks like you're going to crash into the water right up until the point you just touch down on land, because the land kind of juts out, and it's when you're on the plane, it's kind of scary. When it's your first time, it really looks like you're going to land on the water, and then the ground appears, and then you land just within seconds. But anyway, yeah. So you're going to suffer the consequences one way or another if you don't try to decipher the truth in every situation that you can. And getting to that truth is that's how life becomes better. And it may be hard at first. Some of these truths they're kind of ugly truths, like, oh, I've been doing this the wrong way or the detrimental way this whole time, and now I need to look at changing. Like, that's hard. That's really hard for everybody. And but when you start to live this way of always wanting to pursue the truth at all costs, then life becomes better. I mean, it goes all the way down to like the little things, your little conversations where you might exaggerate just a little bit, trying to correct that. Because I do that sometimes. I go, oh, there was like 50 people, and it's like, actually it's more like 20. So I just correct myself, even though sometimes it seems like it doesn't matter, but the truth does matter. And getting to that with your health it's really the way to go. And it's tough sometimes, and sometimes there's conflicting reports out there, but you can just keep going and keep pushing to get as much truth as you can. So my thing is, I went down this low carb path, and the more I researched, the more I found that is the healthiest way to go. And then coming across the carnivore information and coming across the keto and that kind of thing, it all makes sense. And and I'm still refining every day. Every day I'm trying to refine how I'm living. Right now I'm out in the sun. I know that is a huge factor for health. How much sun are you getting? It used to be, back in the 80s, it was like, let's hide from the sun and try to avoid it, and because it causes cancer, right? But now it's like, if you're not getting this midday sun every day or as much as you can, that's a health hazard. So, that's something. Okay, I got cut off there because my phone ran out of memory, but I'm back. Just to finish up there. So you learn something at one point, and then new information comes out that changes that. And you when you don't update it, then you could be going along with this false premise or false idea that is sinking you instead of lifting you up. As we get deeper into this information age, we have access to so much information, and so it is important. I think that is important, to take the time to research and to find out as much as you can from all the resources that are out there and available. And so if you stopped in 1987, you would probably still believe that fat is bad for you, and sugar is okay, and we should be getting our most of our calories from bread and pasta and cereal. And that would lead to that has led to heart disease and cancer and all these modern diseases. So my message is just that try to seek out the truth when you can, as much as you can, and this will benefit your life in so many ways, and it keeps you from going down paths that might be destructive and definitely are not going to be helpful. So anyway, I'm going in the shade. It's getting really cold, even though it's a beautiful day, but I'm going to sign off there, and I can't even see the bay, but I'm at the San Francisco Bay here, and I hope you're doing well, and we will talk to you soon. Cheers.